MSNBC's Joe Scarborough has shockingly broken ranks with his colleagues to agree with Donald Trump and admit Washington, D.C. is not safe.
You can walk 40, 50, 60 blocks in Manhattan at 2 in the morning and feel safe. And yet in Washington, D.C., I've got friends that worked in the Biden White House. I have friends that work in the media that say they don't feel safe walking 3 blocks in Washington, D.C.
The debate about policing in Washington, D.C. reached fever pitch this week, following Trump's decision to deploy the National Guard to fight crime in the country's capital.
We're here for a very serious purpose, Something's out of control, but we're going to put it in control very quickly like we did on the southern border. I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back.
And it seems Joe Scarborough is not alone in his surprising take.
President Donald Trump has taken control of Washington, D.C.'s Metropolitan Police Department, deploying the National Guard in an attempt to crack down on crime. And even America's left-wing ABC news anchor confirmed that crime is indeed out of control in D.C. Have a listen.
I can tell you firsthand here in downtown D.C. where we work, right here around our bureau, just in the past 6 months, there were 2 people shot. 1 person died, literally 2 blocks down here from the bureau. It was within the last 2 years that I actually was jumped walking just 2 blocks down from here. And then just this morning, one of my coworkers said her car was stolen a block away from the bureau. So we can talk about the numbers going down, but crime is happening every single day.
Cameron, it's Washington, D.C. today, New York tomorrow. It's a bold move by Trump.
Well, I was actually in the White House 25 years ago, and DC was a criminal organisation then. It was terrible. I mean, there was a section between the White House and DuPont Circle that was safe, and we were told never to leave that area because DC was lawless. It was the murder capital 25 years ago of the US, if you can believe that. So no, I think I'm not a moment too soon. Let's clean up the nation's capital. If that means putting the National Guard on the streets because the cops can't do their job, let's just do it. Let's clean up DC.
Former White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer doubled down on this, saying Washington, D.C. is in dire straits and the statistics cannot be trusted.
I spend a decent amount of time going in and out of our nation's capital. One of the things that people don't want to tell you is over the last several years, we've stopped prosecuting a lot of crimes. The police won't go after certain criminals. I literally drove down the street months ago as a gang kind of came up from behind and they were doing all sorts of motorcycle and bicycle tricks. And I looked at the guy in the Uber and he said, oh, this happens all the time. The police won't touch him anymore. So we've just stopped. So when they talk to you about statistics, whether it's Washington, D.C. or New York City, the dirty little secret that they don't want to tell you is that they have stopped prosecuting crimes. They've stopped arresting people. And whether that's to pad statistics or not, but I'll tell you the real way you can tell is ask somebody if they feel comfortable or safe walking around our nation's capital. And so I really don't care about the statistics, to be honest with you, that it's scary in our nation's capital, especially as the sun sets. Gangs have taken over. Crime is rampant. The police don't stop it anymore. No one prosecutes it. The U.S. Attorney, Jeanine Pirro, at that White House press conference that you played a clip from, she made it very clear that she's been hamstrung by her ability to actually prosecute crimes. So the reality is that our nation's capital, which is something that we should be welcoming people from all over the world into, is not a safe place. It's, in fact, a very dangerous place.
But while some in the mainstream media have put their biases to the side, others are still peddling their anti-Trump agenda. MSNBC contributor Eddie Glaude dramatically blasted Trump's new measures.
Chris, to be honest with you, I'm trying to hold my temper. I think there's an ongoing argument that he's having in his head with Black Lives Matter. There's an ongoing argument that he's having with the questions around criminal justice reform and police reform. It's interesting that he really doesn't really care about what's actually happening in D.C. on a certain level because he's not trying to get at the underlying root causes. He's not looking at examples of how to address rising crime rates, that doesn't require a form of policing that leads to increased incarcerality and the like.
And this MSNBC host tried to make the new measures about race.
One of the things that we have seen over and over from the president, from his team, Stephen Miller saying it's like Baghdad in Ethiopia. They seem to hold their harshest criticism sometimes for cities that are majority black and brown.
Comedian and commentator Alex Stein broke down the demographics in Washington, D.C., saying crime is rampant because there is no middle class.
Well, it is going to be a tough challenge when it comes to, getting rid of all the crime in D.C. because they have a unique situation where it is just there's basically no middle class. It's the ultra wealthy and basically people that are homeless. And so it's created this kind of ecosystem where people need drugs in that area. So they come from Baltimore, they come from Virginia, they come from West Virginia, they come from all areas to go and commit crime in Washington, D.C. because it's one of the biggest tourist spots in the world. And there's a lot of affluent people, so there's a lot of targets. So it is going to be a tough task to stop criminals from committing crime, basically an impossible task. But anything is better than the current situation that is going on in D.C. It is truly a dangerous place, and I'm not just being hyperbolic when I say that.